Okay, in fact, we are shifting our focus to some breaking inputs which are just coming in. Sushant Singh Rajput's call data records have been accessed by your channel, and what we are given to believe is that 19 calls took place between Sushant and Riya from 20th to 25th of January earlier this year. Then there were 11 calls from Riya, 14 outgoing calls from Sushant. His family says that Sushant was with them at this time, and they allege that Riya was pressurizing him to return to her. So these are the call data records of Sushant Singh Rajput's mobile that your channel has gained access to, and it is the duration in which the family claims that Sushant was with them and he was getting constant pressure and calls from Riya to return to him. To in fact emphasize on that point, the call data records suggest that there were at least 19 calls which were made between the two of them between 20th and 25th of January 2020. There were 14 outgoing calls from Sushant and 11 from Riya is what we have picked up. Remember, the family of Sushant Singh Rajput has always maintained that Riya was trying to distance him from them, and Pranesh is joining me from the Newsfit now with more inputs on this. Pranesh, what are the details that are emerging from this call data record of Sushant Singh Rajput?
This is very, very crucial here, and Times Now is the only channel to have accessed the call detail records, the CDR records of Sushant Singh Rajput from January and June. I'll come to the June part later, but this is his call record from January. Here, Preeti, if you see Sushant Singh, here it is. This is his number. We've masked half of it. Calling A. So this is the person who was calling, and called B. B is the person who was receiving the call. This number here is of Riya. Riya called Sushant on 20th January. The call time was 6:55 in the evening. The call duration was 113. Thus 113 seconds. This is seconds, Preeti. Let's look at the other calls. This is Sushant's number. He called back Riya here. The call was made at 11:59 in the night. The call lasted for 264 seconds. And then again you see here 1, 2, 3, 4, all Riya's number. 4 calls by Riya Chakrabarti to Sushant Singh Rajput. First here made on 21st January. The time is 10:35 in the night. Lasted for 42 seconds. The second call was at 10:56. This is on the 22nd of January. This lasted 59 seconds. The third call on the 22nd of January lasted 75 seconds. This was made at 12:25. And the fourth call, Preeti, that was also on the 22nd of January. This lasted 95 seconds. Now, this is from January, and there are other calls also as we go along here. There is one here. This was made by Riya Chakrabarti. The date is 24th January. It lasted 97 seconds. And then these are calls made by Sushant in response to the missed call by Riya. Now, for the first time in this case, the call detail records of Sushant Singh is out. Did Riya coerce Sushant? There is a theory doing the rounds, and this now lends credence perhaps to that theory. We don't know. This is all a matter of investigation. We are only putting out what we've accessed. 5-day call details accessed. Days when Sushant met family. Multiple calls to and from Riya. All these calls were made to Sushant when Sushant was not in Mumbai. He had come to visit his sister, and the call data here is adding to the mystery, Preeti.
That's right. Like Pranesh, you mentioned that we are just putting out the facts which are evident from these call records. And let me go across to Executive Editor Vivek Narayan as well. Vivek, why these call records of 6 days are important is because this is the duration when reportedly Sushant was with his family. And his family has maintained throughout that there were several attempts made from Ria's side to draw him away from us. And perhaps at a time when he was spending it with his family, there were constant calls to maybe pressurize him to come back to her. That's what is the line that the family has taken.
Exactly, Preeti. Let me just put this in context right now. This is completely in sync what the two other players in this entire drama are telling us. One, what Sushant's parents and his family members are telling us, that he drove down from Mumbai to Haryana at that point and stayed with his family, except sister and brother-in-law and others at that point, and he was very relaxed. He drove down with a person called Siddharth Pithani, and Pithani is on record with Times now telling that this man was extremely relaxed when he was reaching their home. He was not on medication, he was with parents, and we have video from those days. Video of him playing with his sisters, with his dog, everything at that from Haryana during those 2-3 days that he was there. He was much more relaxed. And the family speaks on how they got consistently in a matter of 2-3 days, kept on getting calls from Ria at that point, and some 19 to 20 missed calls. And there is the documentation that Pranesh was right now showing you. There is documentary evidence. The question
that arises, Vivek, is can these call records be also used as forensic evidence for this? Let me go across to Dr. Bhupesh Sharma, who is a forensic expert who's joining us on this broadcast. Dr. Sharma, how can, according to you, these call records be used as forensic evidence? Do they stand a chance, sir?
See, they are very much important. I would like to say that most of the evidences, the physical evidences, have been now not available, as the body has been cremated and the crime scene has also been washed off. So we need to rely, even the CBI will rely on the electronic evidences a lot, because what happens with the electronic evidences, more you delete them or more you try to tamper them, you create them more. Actually, so there is a trail, a full trail which happens. If I would like to delete a message, so I will create another evidence so behind this. So these are very, very important things. And even if one intention is very good to investigate, whether CBI or Mumbai police, they can easily find that what even the conversation has happened in between them and what time limit and what kind of things have happened in them. So electronic evidences are really very important here in this particular case.
Right. So that's a very important point that Dr. Bhupesh Sharma is raising, that electronic evidence is extremely important in cases like these. And Dr. Sharma, particularly it's important, like you mentioned, because of the fact that now obviously the crime scene is washed and the body has been cremated, and obviously we have to establish a certain understanding of what was the person's state of mind as well, isn't it?
See, first of all, we need to establish the link between the different suspect or accused with the victim. So these electronic evidence will prove definitely, crucial, will be very beneficial at this stage of time when we directly have no other evidence. As you know, the fingerprints and footprints have not been taken. And I came to know yesterday that fingernail scrapings were also not collected. And there is no examination. Visceral report is clear. So yes, electronic evidence is the best. We are living in the digital era right now, and these are the best evidences we can work upon.
What else really contributes, Dr. Sharma, to establishing this digital evidence base? Phone records are one. Apart from that, in today's time when everyone is so gadget savvy, are there other things that the police could be perhaps looking into which they have missed out so far?
See, it's not only the phone records, it's about the searching history also. Let's say if the person is searching from any disorder, any such kind of disorder which has been said about Mr. Sushant, so he must have searched about different psychiatrists also, he must have searched about different medications also. And because he was so intelligent, he was not an illiterate or uneducated person, and he was always, keep searching the articles and everything. So definitely that would be other thing. And not only from his phone, from other members' phones also. So the complete searching history and the WhatsApp messages, not only the call record, the WhatsApp messages exchanged between different parties. will also be very crucial. And then these messages will check the accuracy or otherwise of the statement made by the people, whether what Cook Neeraj is saying or what Ria is saying as in a statement or what other people are saying as in a statement. So if there will be a flaw in the statement with these records, so it is going to be very
Bhupesh
crucial.
Sharma, I want to ask one important question before I go across to our reporters. Is it a possibility that this digital evidence can be destroyed permanently? Because so far, what if Mumbai police has not got hold of the call records of Ria? She is still untraceable. Can she actually, any accused for that matter, can they manage to permanently destroy digital evidence?
Better I would love not to like to answer this question, but there are probabilities, but still we have very good software which can even retrieve the data after the deletion at any level.
Yeah, no, the
Yes,
the
of
only
course.
intention behind asking that question was, would there be any permanent damage if we continue to see this delay in investigation? Perhaps I'll take that up with you at some later stage as well. Let me just quickly bring in some inputs from our reporters now. Priyank Tripathi is joining me on the broadcast, and we'll also have political analyst Mr. Ravi Srivastava with us. But Priyank, to you first. Now, this is extremely important, the call records that we have gained access to. This is the same period when Sushant was reportedly with his family. And the family claims that there was constant pressure on him, or some tactics were employed, perhaps even emotionally, to get him back, to draw him back to Ria. These claims would be substantiated, you feel, with these call records?
Yes, certainly, Preeti, that is very important, as our expert have already been stating, that our forensic expert is the only thing which is left with the investigating agency, because we know that this flat of Bandra, where Sushant Singh Rajput's body was found, the crime scene has been totally washed off. The family was told that they can take the belongings from their side. So this particular flat is empty, so there's very less evidence which is left there. What we also know through our sources, which will certainly come out in the due course of time, that on the night when Sushant Singh Rajput committed suicide, there was several calls which were made in between Ria and Sushant Singh Rajput. So there was something which was very fishy, and this has been the document which we have right now access clearly shows that even if Sushant wanted to be with his family for some time, when he wanted to relax, there was continuous pressure from Ria Chakrabarti to come back to him, and that was one of the reasons for which the family had raised an alarm when the family called up the DCP of Mumbai, which was certainly ignored at that particular time period. Later to that, instead of Sushant being staying with his family, Ria took him to a farmhouse where he was kept almost like a hostage for almost a month. So that sort of strategy, by slowly pushing someone into the corner, by making him feel isolated away from the family member, and by making stories that Sushant Singh Rajput's sister was the one who physically allegedly molested Ria Chakrabarti.
Okay, Priyank, just hold on for a bit. In fact, I want to bring in now part 2 of Sushant's call records that your channel has gained access to, and these are call data records between June 8th and 14th. Before this, we were talking about the call records between January 20th and 25th, and now these are the June month call records. Pranesh has more details on this. Pranesh, over to you.
Right, Preeti, we told you about the CDR records from January. Now look at what we found. These are Sushant Singh Rajput's call records from the month of June. He died on 14th June, and we have details from the 8th of June till the 14th of June. Let's go step by step. Now this is also the time that Sushant was upset. At least many people believe that, because Disha Salian had died. Disha died on the 9th of June, if I am not wrong with the date. Preeti, correct me if I am wrong. Look at the details here. This is, like I said, the person making the call, the person receiving the call. This was Sushant. This was, let me mark this so that our viewers get a sense. This was Sushant, and he called this number. Now, I'm not going to tell you whose number this is, but after perusing the call detail records of June, at least from the 8th of June to the 14th of June, not one call exchanged between Sushant and Ria. Ria did not reach out to Sushant even once. not even a message. The details also, it also accounts for the messages exchanged, like you can see here. This was an SMS, this was an SMS, SMS. None between Rhea Chakrabarti and Sushant Singh Rajput. So if Rhea Chakrabarti claims that she was Sushant Singh Rajput, and when Sushant was upset, distraught after Disha's passing away, why was Rhea Chakrabarti not in touch from 8th to the 14th? And let's go back to the next page, and I'll tell you what this shows. Look at the date here, Preeti. This is the 13th of June and this is the 14th of June, the day Sushant Singh Rajput died. Now this is a message from the service provider. This message here is the message on the 14th of June at 7:30 from the service provider. This is the call from a person that we've spoken to, and we'll play out that conversation also in a bit, to Sushant Singh Rajput. This happened at around 2:22. This lasted 368 seconds. 368 seconds the call lasted. But from the 8th to the 14th, we have the records here with us on Times Now. Not one call exchanged or a message exchanged between Rhea Chakrabarti and Sushant Singh Rajput.
And Disha Salian, her death was reported on June 8th. From June 8th to June 14th, no communication between Rhea and Sushant. Vivek, how would you put this in context?
Well, this is the most crucial piece of evidence or factoid which is coming out right now. Why? Because this is a period in life of Sushant Singh Rajput when he was under extreme pressure. This was the time when his partner was not with him. This was the time when he had heard of Disha Salian's death. We don't know what was the cause of Disha Salian's death, but we do know that there was pressure. He was extremely worried about what had happened to Disha. At that point, he was all alone, as his partners, those who were living in the flat with him, were telling us all through that he was under extreme duress at that point. The question now is a person who's always been with him, spoken with him, who was not there in the house during those days. Why is it that Disha did not make why is it that Rhea did not make a single call in those crucial 6 days? Out of this 6 days, 5 days are extremely important, between 9th of June and 14th when he finally died. At that point, why is it that he was left alone by his partner? Why no full conversations happening? This is all indicative of what parents are telling us from day one. What his mother, what his father, what his four sisters have been telling us from day one, that he was under extreme pressure which was put on him, thrust on him by Rhea, because as we showed in the call data records of between 20th and 23rd of January, when he was with his family at that point, she had made multiple calls, at least 20 missed calls in a period of 2 days, and he had returned those calls and he was asked to come. Point number one. Point number two, call data records. Set number two that Pranesh was just showing us. What did it prove? It proves that he was all alone at a crucial point, and there was such pressure on this person that he could not bear.
This is shocking. If someone claims to be your partner, even if perhaps he or she was not present at home at that time, a shocking incident has happened. Sushant's, former secretary had, in fact, manager had passed away in a tragic incident. We don't know yet whether that was also a suicide or not. But Rhea doesn't make a single attempt to get connected with him, either through SMS or through calls. Let me go across quickly to others who are with me on this broadcast at the moment. We have Mr. Ravi Srivastav along with Dr. Bhupesh Sharma, who is a forensic expert. But Ravi Srivastav, if I can take a quick question with you here. This all amounts to complete shoddy investigation on the part of the Mumbai police. To top it all, why would the state government continue to resist handing over the case to the CBI, which finally had to be done with the Supreme Court's intervention?
First of all, I think you have, I must compliment Times Now for that matter. This is a classified document, that call detail record you have got. And these documents are crucial, and these documents will definitely throw a lot of light that under what circumstances the Sushant Singh Rajput actually died. But I will disagree with Dr. Bhupesh, because I am also a cyber law practitioner, and I know that January call record precisely does not prove anything, because Ria was in a live-in relationship. And 2015 judgment of the Supreme Court, the living relationship is almost considered to be parallel to a husband-wife relationship. So a wife talking to a husband or husband talking to a wife is not an unnatural thing, and that does not prove anything.
Dr. Sharma, do you want to give a reply to Mr. Ravi Srivastava on that point, sir?
Yeah, of course. Hey, what he's saying legally, is correct, but we are talking about the evidences here.
Yeah.
Okay, we have to focus on the connections where the connection is missing actually, when we need to establish that. So these call records will be very crucial in providing that connections or the messages or whatever records are there, what type of messages have been sent. Okay, even if they are living as husband and wife, and if there's some threatening message comes in or something other sort of message comes in, that raises an issue, because right now there are allegations on Ria from Sushant's father, legal allegations, say wrongful confinement under section 340, and there are so many others. So definitely each evidence, whether it is electronic evidence or whether it is other type of evidence, will be used to prove or disprove these type of allegations what have been put by the father, by the family.
So Dr. Sharma, are you also trying to convey that at the moment we have these call records, and perhaps legally speaking there might not be anything unnatural in receiving calls from a friend or even from your partner, but the content of these calls would again be another crucial aspect that the investigators should shift their focus to?
Yes, of course. The content is the main thing. Only, the call records can be very crucial if some call has been made from Ria's phone also, not only to Sushant but to other person who has been an accused or who has been a suspect in this case. Then it becomes more crucial, because they both were living in the live-in relationship. So it will not be treated as that much crucial evidence right now. But if somebody claims that I have not talked to him at that period of time, or I was not in connection, but still the call records are present, then it becomes the crucial evidence.
And that's an important point, right?
Yeah.
Can I respond, Preeti? Can I respond?
Yeah, Mr. Ravi Srivastava, go ahead, sir. And then I think Pranesh would also want to take up a few questions with you. First, if you can respond.
I just quickly, I'll take only 30 seconds.
Sure.
I agree with Dr. Bhupesh for that matter, that whatever call records are there of the third person, that Ria's call record is not much a relevance of evidence, but call records of others who are in touch with Sushant Singh Rajput are far more important. And those will definitely become the part of the evidence when the matter goes for trial. And another thing I just want to add is that nothing can be deleted permanently. So long as the hard disk is intact, nothing can be deleted, and all can be retrieved with a good sophisticated software. All the data, call records, messages, email, everything can be retrieved. That's not a problem.
Yes, this is a very important discussion that's happening right now. Can I request you, Mr. Ravi Srivastava, Dr. Bhupesh Sharma, to please stay with me? I have to take a very quick break here in the bulletin. When we return, we'll continue our discussion. Please stay with me. Is keeping you ahead on all the aspects related to the investigation in Sushant Singh Rajput death case, and we have gained access to call data records of the actor's phone number from two durations. One is a week in January that he spent with his family, and a week in June, just before his demise on June 14th. From 8th to 14th is what we have these call records of. Pranesh is with me from the Newspit Now, who can perhaps quickly summarize for us what really comes out from these two durations of call data records, Pranesh.
That's right. Times Now has accessed the call CDR records of Sushant Singh Rajput from 2 months, January and June. We also have details of the last person who spoke to Sushant Singh Rajput on the 13th of June. We'll come to that in just a bit, but let me quickly put this in context for our viewers. What we are trying to tell you is that in January, Ria Chakrabarti has made a lot of calls to Sushant. Or to put it better, there have been a lot of calls to and fro Sushant and Ria. That changed somehow from the 8th of June to the 14th of June, the day Sushant Singh Rajput was found dead. Not one call was exchanged between the 8th of June to the 14th of June between Sushant and Riya, and which is why I want to ask that question to Ravi Srivastav, because Mr. Srivastav, before the break you were making that point that there is nothing amiss here, that it is absolutely normal for two partners to exchange calls and messages. What changed here, Mr. Srivastav? Isn't this strange?
Pranesh, I agree with you. The part of 8th to June 2020, that part I am in agreement with you, not talking for 7 days. And actually, if you go on record, you will find that Riya had walked out of Sushant Singh Rajput's house on 9th June itself. And she was not at all, in touch with him. So that speaks volumes about the relationship between those two, that there was some strained relationship or something was...
Mr. Srivastav, I'm glad you said that, because then I want to ask you, what explains Riya's message to Home Minister Amit Shah on Twitter, where she says, I am Sushant Singh Rajput's girlfriend and I request the government to do a CBI probe?
But she had been a girlfriend for 13 months, Pranesh, right from May 19 till June.
Sir, we are not disputing any of that. We are only saying that there are some things that are raising eyebrows. There are some questions that need to be answered. It has to be investigated. That's all we are saying, sir.
Absolutely. I don't deny that. But investigation has already been done by the Mumbai police. And I hope you are aware that they are going to submit all the details in the next 3 days to the Honorable Supreme Court. So they will have to give all these call detailed records, forensic report, or whatever investigation, the 56 statements which they have taken from the relatives of the Sushant Singh Rajput, friends, cook, driver, everybody, that they will have to produce before the Honorable Supreme Court. And this is that Honorable Supreme Court will take
Preeti, like you saw, that was the question I wanted to get a response from Mr. Ravi Srivastav. He is also agreeing. So there are questions, and the police, the Maharashtra police probe is uninspiring to say the least. The family has called them out. The Supreme Court was also not impressed. Let's see what unfolds in the Supreme Court in 2 days.
That's right. In fact, we've been also speaking to forensic experts, and they also claim that this is an important piece of digital evidence in the light of circumstances that have unfolded over the last, almost 2 months now. And the fact that Mumbai police did not look at this evidence in the beginning means that they become even more crucial. Now, the focus will also shift on the content of these calls which were made in January, because the family, Mr. Ravi Srivastav, continues to claim that there was pressure on him from Riya's side to stay away from the family. Now, why we are highlighting those calls during that duration is because of the fact that he was spending that time with his family. You would understand the importance of it, right?
Preeti, you will also have to take into consideration that the SMS messages and WhatsApp messages shown by your channel from 19th February to 25th of February, to which the DCP Paramveer Dahiya has responded, that in response to that, one Mr. O.P. Singh, who was the brother-in-law of Mr. Sushant Rajput, he had asked to take 2 people into custody. He had asked the custody of the Mr. Miranda and one more person to take 2 persons into custody to pressurize them. And when Mr. Dahiya asked that you give us written complaint against them, then only I'll be able to take any action. The family went back and they did not do it. So that's what I want to say.
You have been slightly selective.
Yeah.
This will not
Pranesh, go ahead.
Preeti, I didn't mean to cut you off. I think Mr. Srivastav is being slightly selective here, where he's saying the family refused to file a written complaint. What you're ignoring, Mr. Srivastav, is the desperate SOS calls. The person that you are naming, Mr. O.P. Singh, Sushant Singh Rajput's brother-in-law, is on record in that WhatsApp messages. In that message, he said Sushant's life is at risk.
Exactly.
What more do you want?
Exactly. So 2 points here. No, Mr. Ravi Srivastav, 2 points here. Already we have spoken to many legal experts who believe that in such a case there was no specific need for a written complaint. And secondly, the family is looking at this relationship also as a relationship between 2 consenting adults. So there is also a limit to which they can intervene. They were worried about a certain aspect. They flagged it off with the police, which failed to act on time. Where is the family wrong in that?
No, Preeti, point is that it's what Sushant Singh's family, that brother-in-law, actually wanted to pressurize Riya Chakravarti, and that too unofficially. They never wanted to go the things to go on record. Had they wanted to do it, they would have filed a written complaint and the police was forced to take the action.
Sir, but
what
that
they
is your
wanted, it should be
interpretation of
done
what the family
informally.
wanted.
It is
No,
written in
Mr.
that,
Ravi Srivastava, it's
messages
wrong.
also,
It's
WhatsApp
wrong. That is
messages
your
also.
interpretation
They
of
never
what the
wanted to
family
file
wanted.
a
You are saying that
written
they were
complaint
trying to
against them.
pressurize
And the
Riya
police,
Chakrabarti.
if it acts
Why would you
without a
not
written
consider that they were
complaint,
worried
you will be
about their
pulling up the
son?
police only next day.
They were worried about their son, perhaps keeping wrong company or ill-advised company, and somebody who was drifting away from them, which is completely contrary to what his nature was till that point of time in life.
A wrong or the right company is a matter of investigation.
Exactly. That is exactly what the
even
family
then,
wanted to
I
be
tell you,
investigated.
it will be very difficult to prove that what actually happened between those two. And the charges of the money laundering and the money taken away and all, if they are living as a husband and wife, and husband is spending money on that woman, I don't think there will be anything wrong proved in that. That's what I am telling you.
No, you are mixing two, three aspects of the story. I'm sure all of this will be debated in the courtroom as well. But the point here is that these call records that we are specifically focusing on do throw some light on the kind of relationship that the two of them had. If in January, they were so close that when Sushant is with his family, Riya is constantly in touch with him. The family claims that she was trying to pull him back to her. In June, just at a crucial time when perhaps mentally it was also a stressful time for Sushant. He got the news of his former manager dying in some sort of an accident, or perhaps it was a case of suicide. That happened on June 8th. June 8th is also, as per Riya's petition, the time when she walked out of his house when they were living in together. Now, this is a crucial time when somebody who considers herself to be Sushant's girlfriend, as per her own admission in that tweet to the Home Minister, is sometime when she decided to, walk away from his life, leave him even maybe vulnerable emotionally. Now, these dots have to be joined. Would you at least concede that point? And this is something where Mumbai police failed so far.
I am not in disagreement with you, PT. I can confirm to you that whatever you are saying, all these things have to come on record. All these things have to be probed properly. And I think that Mumbai police must have done their job, because they are not so naive that they will have omitted this kind of glaring evidences. And just let's wait for that, what report they submit before the Honorable Supreme Court.
Sir, your faith in Mumbai police and their investigation is incredible, but I'm sorry, that's the same thing that the family has questioned. If they were so convinced with the investigation of Mumbai police, they would have not found the need to go ahead and file an FIR in Patna, and then now the case being handed over to CBI. I'm going to request you, Mr. Ravi Srivastava, to stay with me. We have to take another quick break here in the bulletin. We'll be back on this story in just a bit.